weekend here in Miami, and there's been a crazy, crazy rainstorm all weekend. We were supposed to go to Ultra Music Festival, which is a crazy electronic music festival here in Miami, but we basically have been rained out. We drove over to South Beach last night, and South Beach was essentially underwater. The streets had at least a foot of water. The cars were, it appeared as if they were floating, which was wild. Everything was just soaked. The sun finally came out this afternoon for a bit, so I just took Rory on a nice walk. And now, since the rain has stopped, I thought it would be a good time to say hey, to chat, to do a little bit of ASMR. And I'm realizing that the word disco is a great trigger. Disco. So I have a few fun, personal favorite triggers of mine that I love, that I've been inspired by other ASM artists on the platform, that I've seen them create with. So I wanted to give them a shot and try out this whole trigger business. So far on my channel, I've only done speaking ASMR, but I love when people use triggers, and there are a few that really get me nice and tingly and melty. The first one, which serves a dual purpose. The purposes being, one, to keep me hydrated, and two, so you can hear the bubbly sounds, the fizzy bubbly sounds when I open it. I've got a can of LaCroix right here, and I'd like to open Do you hear her groaning? She really wants to go in the backyard. I love those bubbles. Okay, next up is an item that I love the sound of, and I've been inspired by GB ASMR and her, I wonder if you can guess, her toaster coasters. I love the sound of coasters. It's so soft and kind of smooth and kind of comforting. Do you like the sound of that like I do? We got these with some amazing Caraway pots and pans that are really fantastic. They're stainless steel and non-stick, and we got a big kind of crock pot, and I love them, and they came with these coasters as a little special bonus. So thank you, Caraway. I love when GB does her coaster toaster ASMR. I'm gonna have to get some toaster coasters for myself. Toaster coasters. It's also so much fun to say. I'm sorry I don't have long nails, but if enough of you like my videos, then maybe I'll grow out my nails for you. There you go. A little bit of coaster, Cork ASMR, which I love. Okay, the next thing I have is a book. It's a book about Florida, and it was published in conjunction with A24, the film studio, which makes some of the most incredible, emotional, touching, kind of soulful movies. One of our favorite movies last year, which was an A24 film, was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which was just this incredibly mindful, explosive, very human, very touching film about family and identity and just kind of the condition of being a human, the human condition, and it just was such a beautiful film. But this book was published because a lot of A24 films actually happen to take place in Florida, like Moonlight and The Florida Project and Spring Breakers. And this is a really cool book, a hyper-local guide to the flora, fauna, and fantasy of the most far-out state in America. Far out being kind of a double entendre because I think Florida is probably the most southern state, so it physically is the most far out, It's so funky. Some people like tracing Florida. R-I-D-A X-Clam. What do you think? Do you like book ASMR? I flipped to a page with the devil. The psychic capital of Florida. Casadega Spiritualist Camp. Have any of you ever been there? Let's see, I'll flip to one more page and see where we land. How to shop inside a sorcerer. Interesting. Orlando residents are well acquainted with the giant wizard head that towers above the entrance to the sprawling Magic Castle gift shop. That's so funny because there's a Magic Castle in Los Angeles, which is like this really cool old castle in the Hollywood Hills where there's all these magicians kind of tucked into little nooks and crannies. Doing card tricks and magic shows, and then they have more kind of formal magic shows in seated auditorium spaces, but you can also just kind of find the magicians tucked away, and you go and you have a nice dinner, and it's kind of a cool evening experience. So that's the Florida book. I hope you like it. I think it sounds so cool. And our last trigger is going to be another kind of disco themed item. I've never seen anyone do ASMR with this next item, so this is going to be an experiment. It's a vinyl, and it's one of our favorite vinyls. LCD sound system. LCD sound system. And obviously we love it because we love the music, but also, like, have you ever seen a cooler cover? LCD sound system, in our opinion, is one of the best. And when I say our, I'm referring to my husband and I. They are one of the best live music bands out there. Their shows are always so full of energy. There's always a massive disco ball. The lighting is just such a vibe with obviously the reflection of the kind of strobe lights, stage lights onto the disco ball, into the audience. The disco ball's always spinning. James Murphy, the lead of the LCD sound system, is just the coolest guy. He's just a fucking rock star, honestly, and they always just put on a really great show. Their music is really alive, energetic. I would say they're better live than like listening to them on a record, but because you really like get the full experience when you see them performing. So I just thought this was a really cool vinyl cover. You can see Rory's tail wagging in the background, by the way. She was just over there. She says hi. Does that sound cool? Do you like that? What's on the back? Oh, it just lists the track on the side, on the A side and the B side. The first track on this album is Daft Punk is Playing at My House. I think this is a self-titled album. I think it's just called LCD Sound System. And it's incredible. It's highly recommend. Good listening if you're, wanting to go out and party or pre-game. They're really incredible, and Sorry about the growls. So as I was saying, I'd love to know what you guys would like to see more of, what you would like to hear more of. I really appreciate the comments that you've been leaving, telling me what you like, what you want to see, and I'm just so excited to keep doing this because it's, as I said in my first video, it's super